I mean, if you don't know what you're even venturing towards, how are you going to know what it is when it actually comes up and just hits you right in the face? Are you just simply expecting that there's going to be some wise old sage, like with a cloak and a staff, just stood by the side of the road that's going to go, hey, come on, come here. I've got all of the secrets that you have no idea what you're looking for. You know, all of the really important things that you would need for your quest. Now, of course, this isn't going to happen, which is why you need to start developing the ability to ask the right questions of the thing that you're going towards. And it starts with this question: what are the audition panel looking for with your drama school auditions? It's funny because I get asked this question by coaching clients really often, and I have answered this in a very all-encompassing kind of fashion in previous videos. So if you are interested, go and watch them. But what I've now taken to saying to my coaching clients is that, well, it really depends on what audition round you are doing. At what stage within the audition process are you? Because the audition panel are looking for different things for different rounds. So that is why this week we are going to break down each of the audition rounds that you will likely be coming up against for UK-based drama schools, and we are going to touch on the various different things that you're going to be looking at in each one. Oh, and by the way, in one-to-one coaching with all of my different coaching clients, we're actually gearing what they're preparing in accordance with what round they are preparing for, so that you're not trying to prepare for the whole audition season, but rather actually preparing for the first step that is in front of you. And if this sounds like something that you would be interested in doing, then all of the details below are how you can contact me to get some coaching. Okay, so the standard UK-based drama school audition process for the entirety of the season is broken down like this. First round self-tape of 1 or 2 speeches, second round in-person audition of the same speeches, then third round or final round of your original speeches, maybe some additional material, and an interview. You might also have a full day or a half day of workshops with that too. Now, this isn't strictly speaking across the board for all of the schools. This is just the one that I see most common. You might find that in the second round they're asking for additional material. You might find that an interview takes place in the first round if you're doing it in person. You might find that there is no workshop whatsoever. But I'm going to touch on each of these things, so whatever round it all presents itself with, you know what they're looking for. So let's start off with, what are they looking for? What are the panel actually looking for your first round self-tape audition of 1 or 2 speeches? And first round auditions are predominantly self-tapes. They are predominantly you shooting your material at home and submitting it to the school. But you might also do a first round in-person audition. But either way, they are looking for the same thing. And it is very simply, in a nutshell, can you do the acting? Like, are you any good? That is what they need to establish for the first round. That and very little else. So are you making sense of the text? Are you approaching it from a place of truth and believability? Is your body and your voice actually supporting and propelling those creative choices forward? And are you working to affect somebody in a truthful way without pushing and showing and presenting? And if you're doing all of that correctly, then the likelihood is you're going to get a recall, which takes us on to second round recall stage with the same speeches. Now, these tend to be in person. The audition panel actually want to see you in the flesh, doing the speeches in an environment that might seem slightly foreign to you. Now, of course, if you are overseas or if you're unable to make an in-person audition for whatever reason, they will likely hold a live digital audition via Zoom. But again, we're looking for the same things. They want to see if you can deal with nerves and deal with being under pressure. They want to see if your voice and your body can actually adapt to a new environment. Oftentimes you will be auditioning in large studio spaces, so they want to see if you can actually fill that space. And this is without showing or pushing. And most importantly, they are going to redirect your speeches. They're actually going to give you notes to do the speech in a completely different way to the way that you are doing it already. And this is to gauge whether you are actually adaptable, whether you imaginatively shift with the notes that are being given to you, whether you are there to collaborate. So if you are resisting or rejecting the note, or if you're just doing it the same way that you have always done it, then the panel are going to see that as, perhaps they're not ready for training. They can only do that speech in one way. Or if you just don't seem enthusiastic to play and explore and create alongside them, I mean, that's no fun. You're an actor. It's like the whole thing. It's like the whole gig. Play. It's why it's called a play. Or if you only understand the redirection note in theory, just up in your head, but you're not actually able to execute that in a creative way, that there's some kind of disconnect between you processing it up here and you actually filtering it all the way through you so that you can have a full body experience to inhabit that note and shift and change. So redirection is so incredibly important, and that's what's going to come in your second live round. So just make sure that you're really honing that you're actually really developing the muscle of redirection. And then we have your final round, your third round audition. Again, that will likely be in person. And I've seen variations of a third round being a full day or a half day's worth of workshops. And this can include ensemble work, movement, voice, or acting through song. So when it comes to the ensemble side of things, the panel want to see you actually live action working with people. Can you collaborate? Can you explore? Can you share? You know, like what we learned to do in nursery school. Because acting is not a solo sport. It is about the group. This is how we create. Whether it is a one-man show or whether it's a huge ensemble, you are going to be working creatively with a number of people. So they want to see firsthand if you're actually able to do that. You know, dream work makes the team works. Teamwork, the dream work. So with this, the panel are looking for a combination of leaders and collaborators. Because contrary to popular belief, we are not looking for 25 to 30 leaders to actually put in a year group for drama school. Then you've just got a full year group of very strong-minded individuals who are really reluctant to relinquish control and think that they should always go with their own idea and just will not concede. Very dull. It's very boring. Which is why we're also looking for collaborators. Now, these are the gold dust people that you actually want to have in a group, because they are the people that take other people's ideas and go, yes, absolutely, let's do this. And they facilitate, they champion somebody else's ideas, and then they actually make them happen. It doesn't mean that they're not full of ideas themselves, but they know that it's a group effort and it's all about actually facilitating other people so that you're working towards a common good. But what we often see in these workshop stages is the shadows. The people that just kind of lurk around awkwardly in the background and hope that they don't have to actually come up with an idea, who just kind of follow through with whatever anybody else puts across, regardless of whether they agree with it or not, and just hope that no one's going to make eye contact with them, because then that would just die. It's people that just have no accountability, no follow through, no ideas, and just want to stay in the background. They're the people that we want to weed out when it comes to an ensemble workshop. Now, when it comes to voice and movement and acting through song workshops, we are not expecting you to be experts. On the contrary, we know that you're at the beginning stages of those things, those fundamental practices. They are going to be really important within your training, which is why we want to see how you take to it, how you could potentially see yourself doing a 1, 2, 3 hour voice session, movement session, acting through song session, because that is going to be the majority of your training. And we want to see if you're actually enthusiastic about diving into that, if you're curious and you want to explore, or whether you kind of hang back and are a bit too cool for school for it. We just want to see if you can express yourself in a way other than just spoken word. And again, with the third round, the panel are going to want to see your original speeches and potentially some additional material, whether that is an additional speech or a prepared duologue. Because again, they want to see if you can collaborate. They want to see if you can take on redirection notes that are a lot more detailed, a lot more nuanced, a lot deeper, so that they can actually see, can you take this to a stage where it is not college level or school level, that you're actually propelling yourself up to higher education? Can you start applying this as you would as a professional? And then they will also have an interview. And this is basically to make sure that you are not a psychopath. Are you a psycho? I don't know. You might be. Hope not. They just want to make sure that you're not an absolute dickhead. Like, do they actually want to be around you for 3 years? Could we see you fitting into a group? We also want to see how passionate you are, not just about the actual subject matter of being an actor, but creative work. What kind of work do you want to be making? And can you articulate this to an audition panel? How mindful and aware are you of this path being the thing that's going to propel you into being an actor full-time, as a professional, as a career? Or are you just at the stage where you're like, oh, I like drama, so I'll just go to acting training? No, Are you actually ready for training? It's rigorous. It is loads of contact hours, not a lot of downtime. It's kind of brutal. So are you approaching this from a realistic point of view, or are you still relatively green and naive? They also want to get a sense of your true personality. So make sure that you are not coming in with this like masked persona trying to be all things to all people. Because newsflash, these are people that train actors for a living. They literally teach people how to lie, so they will see through your ruse, tiny mortal, so don't do that. So there you go, that is a short and sweet video about the various different rounds that you are likely to encounter with your audition season and what the audition panel are looking for in each one. So make sure that you are only preparing for the round that is upcoming. There is no point in preparing redirection for your first round auditions because it's not applicable. Take it step by step, actually break it down into more manageable chunks so it doesn't seem like this all-encompassing, oh my god, audition season monster. Like, chill out, it's fine. It's fine. And if I can help in any way, which I'm sure I can, like if you've got a first or a second or a final round audition coming up and you're actually going, do you know what? Audition season only comes round but once a year, and wouldn't it be prudent to actually get an outside perspective, somebody that's actually been on the inside, sitting on these audition panels and training the actors at the schools that I want to go to? Wouldn't that be a good idea? I would think so. So maybe get in touch with me. All of the details are below. Yay! But in the meantime, make sure that you do the liking and the subscribing, and I will see you in the next one.